Hello viewers, in this video we'll be solving this question. It's a calculus problem. A tank of water in the shape of a cone is being filled at a constant rate of 2 feet cube per hour. The base radius of the tank is 5 feet and the height of the tank is 14 feet. At what rate is the depth of the water in the tank changing? Find the depth of the water when the depth of the water is 6 feet. So here we are talking about a cone. So let's see. Okay, so let's try to have uh, a, a picture for this cone. So this will be the tank. Okay, now the base radius means this is the radius of that cone. The radius is what? Is 5 feet. And now the water also will take the shape. There's going to be another small radius here, the water in the tank, and there's going to be a height here. Okay, so we're told that the height of the tank, it means the distance from here to here, this is the tank, is 14 feet. Now here also there's going to be a radius which we don't know, but we know the height of the water is at what rate is the depth of the water in the tank. So this is the depth. This is the height of the depth of the water in the tank, which is the same thing as this one. So this is the radius where the water is now in the tank. This is the level. So let's see what we have. We have that this cone is being filled at at a constant rate. So if you look at this formula, is a feet cube per hour. So this is nothing but a change in volume is 2 feet cube per hour. And the base radius of the tank is 5. So we already know the base radius is 5, which is here. And the height of the tank is is 14. We have it. So what are we looking for? We are looking for the rate. So you are looking for rate. At what rate is the depth of water? So this is the depth of water, which is the height. So we're actually looking for the HDT when the depth of water is what is 6. So it means the HDT when the depth of this water, let's say H, is equals to 6 feet. Okay, so now let's put everything together. But we know that we know that the formula for the volume is going to be we're still trying to answer the first part. This is the volume of a cone, 1/3 pi r watts. This is pi r square h, right? Okay. Now, if you differentiate this with respect to t, you'll have 1/3. But here we'll have two things changing because the height and the radius, because as the water increases here, the radius will be changing and the height will also be changing. This height will be changing, and this radius, for example, if the water gets here, you see the radius will change. So we have two things that will be changing. So it's better we write it as a function of only one variable. And how do we do that? If you look at here, we can use the similar triangle. Similar triangle, we can use the fact that if you take this as what? The base, and consider this as what? The bigger height. So you can see that we will have something like 5 over 14 is the same thing as what? Considering this small one here, you will see that the radius here is r over its height, which is h. So this is true. And so from here, it means you can write your r as what? 5 times h over 14. So this will give us r. Now bring it now and plug it here. This will be pi. R is 5h by 14 all square, then multiply by h. Okay. So this will give us dv dt is equals to 1 over 3 pi, and this should give us 25 h square over 14 square, okay, which is 14 times 14. And here you have another h here, so this becomes what? H cube. Yeah, h cube. Okay, so this one is let me remove the dv dt. It's still v. We just wrote only v in terms of what? H. So it is at this point that we can now differentiate, so that we have dv dt is what? All of these are constants. So 25 pi is a constant over 3 times 14 times 14. All of them are constants. And so here you will just have 3 h square dh dt. So you see that this 3 will cancel this 3. But we know what is the VDT from here. The VDT is what? Is 2. So here becomes 2. And here is what? 25 pi over 14 by 14 times h square. What is h square? Remember, we are looking for this when our h is what? It's 6. So h square is just going to be 6 square times what? dh dt. Times dh dt. Then with this now, we can what? We can cross multiply, so that you have 2 times what? 14 times 14. Then it will be divided by what? We're going to divide by 25 pi times what? 36. This is going to give us dh dt, right? And here you can try to simplify it using, okay, for example, here 2 here, this will give us what? This will give us 18. So dh dt, it's simply, I think this is like 169, right? Over 25 by 18. So let me just put it here. But don't forget, we have a pi at the denominator. Okay. So what do we have in that case? If you have 25 by 18, this is 25 multiplied by 18, you get what? Okay, so let's say we get 450, right? 450. So I think we can just have it here. This is 69 by 450 pi. Then you can leave your answer in this way if you want, or you can try to simplify further. Okay, now this will be feet per watt. I think it's going to be per hour as well. Yeah. Then for the B part, let's see the B part. Let me do it here. B. Now look at B. What is B? B says at what rate is the radius at the top of the water in the tank changing when the depth is what? The depth is 6 feet. So in this case, you want to see the rate of change of what? The rate of change of small r. So here you're actually looking for dr dt when height is what? When the height is 6 feet. So it's just similar stuff, but here you are just using the formula directly. Pi r square h. So in this case, we know what is h, but we don't really know what is r here. So we need to know the rate of change of of this height. So here, if you say dv dt, let me say, if you know dv dt, this is going to be 1 over 3. Now, what we are going to have is going to be what? Pi. This is going to be 2r, right? dr dt. But in this case, we're going to fix h because we know that h is what? H is what? Is 6 feet. Okay? But now, what we don't know in this case is that we don't know what the small r is. But if you come back here where we have this formula, if you come back here, when you know your h, you can know your small r. So if h is what? Is 6, then you can know what is what? What is r. And this will be what? If you put 2 here is 3, 2 here is what? 7. So you have about 15 over what? Over 7. Okay. So when I come here, we know the VDT is still 2. This is going to be 1 over 3 pi. And here will be 2 times r. R in this case, we will use 15 over 7 times the r dt, which we don't know, then times 6. So if you look at all of this, this will just be what? 2 times what? 3 times 7. It's equals to the numerator here. You will just have this times this, which is 2 pi times 15. So you have 30 pi times what? 6 times dr dt. And so what is the r dt? The r dt is just 2 times 3 times 7, all divided by what? 30 pi times 6. And that this is going to be 2. This 2 will go with this 2. So dr dt is going to be what? I think 7 over 30 pi. And here also will be feet per second, per hour. So, okay, so I think we're done with this question, and I hope it is clear. 7, yes, there's 3 here too. 2 will go with this. Anything missing here? 21. 2 times 3 times 7. 30 pi times 6 dr dt. All right, thank you for watching.